Hi, I'm Jeff Gonzalez, president of Trident Concepts, and today I'm here with Brownells Daily Defense at the beautiful SIG Academy in New Hampshire to talk to you about the advantages of private instruction. So, if you're new to shooting and you have decided that you want to expand your knowledge base or get a little bit more familiar and comfortable with a firearm, then private instruction is something that makes a lot of sense. And here are some of the reasons why. One, it's excellent for new shooters because it is a true 1-to-1 ratio. So unlike formalized instruction in a class setting where there's a lot of other people, here you're working one-on-one with the firearms trainer to help kind of guide you through this process. So that can do a lot of things to help kind of lower some anxiety and also build a little bit of comfort because now you know that safety is going to be at a much higher level. So as a new shooter, it makes a lot of sense. Now, one of the things that a firearms trainer should do is he should interact with you and ask some questions to learn about your needs. What are your expectations? What are you trying to accomplish? Because what they should do is they should work with you to help set some realistic goals. So as a new shooter, you can't expect to develop this high level of proficiency. So he's probably gonna tone it down a little bit and help keep everything kind of in a more realistic application or expectation. Now, one of the things about working with a one-on-one instructor is that these are typically a lot shorter in duration. So when it comes to trying to schedule these periods that you can go and actually receive the firearms instruction, you're not having to deal with an entire weekend or a full day. They're usually about an hour to 2 hours in length, and that's about the max that I suggest simply because there's a lot of information that you're taking on. So it makes sense to try to keep these short and sweet so that you can take the information, process, reflect on it, maybe have some follow-up questions that you can ask to get a little bit more clarity, or maybe you can use that as a central point for the next time you get together. So I like it because it works really well with busy schedules. It's a lot more flexible to try to find an hour or two here than a full day or even a whole weekend. Now, the firearms trainer should be working with you to develop a customized approach. So again, he starts to interact and they will ask, what are some of your needs? What are your expectations? What are we trying to accomplish here? Then what they should do is to sit down, and whether it's there with you or after hours, they'll come up with an approach that is customized to your needs. All right, we need to make sure that we cover A, B, we can skip C, we need to get to D, and then F, and then maybe work at J. And this customized approach is unique in the sense that it kind of caters to your needs, but at the same time, there's a nice linear progression towards accomplishing, the bigger picture, if you will. Now, as you work with these private settings more and more, you will probably find that you eventually run into some roadblocks, some challenges. You go, you take some information, you try to practice it on your own. And hopefully your firearms trainer is encouraging you to get out there, take the information that we just discovered and play with it, practice, go to the range, do some things that kind of help promote the greater application and understanding of the material. But you may still not be seeing results. And if you're not seeing results, that's important to be able to convey to your private instructor because they can then try to figure out why. Why are we not seeing results? Is it because maybe you didn't understand one of the details within the concept? Or is it maybe because we are maybe overshooting some realistic expectations and goals? Whatever the case might be, when you're not seeing the results, it's so nice to be able to have that conversation with your instructor so that they can help provide insight through their experience on how to fix it. Now, most of the time, your selection of private firearms instructors is going to be based around location. Like many of them will work within a facility, a range complex of some sort. So it makes it nice because you can just go to that facility, ask to speak with the local pro and get some guidance on how does this all work. Many times you'll find that online, but if you have the luxury of actually going to the facility and speaking face to face with that instructor, you're going to get a lot more insight into whether or not there's some compatibility there, whether or not there's some sort of connection that you feel comfortable with. So it's nice if the location is convenient that you can actually do that, and it's nice if the firearms trainer is available for him to take 5 to 10 minutes to walk out and have a conversation and just kind of introduce themselves, talk a little bit about their background and experience, and then you guys can formulate your own strategy about what you want to do from there. Now, hopefully you did develop some consistency, or I'm sorry, some connectivity there, and that connection allows you to feel comfortable about going back for more. And that leads us to consistency. Because one of the nice things as a new shooter is that there's a lot of milestones kind of in your path as you're moving forward. And what's really nice is when you have somebody that you can go to on a consistent basis to try to help guide you through that kind of pathway that you're on. I find it to be extremely valuable in the sense of the more I work with an individual, the more I can expand our horizons, the more I can push those goals farther forward, because we're developing momentum. We're developing sort of like a good working relationship that allows us to kind of make further gains. It's one thing to have some firearm instruction, you kind of take it, but then you kind of stop, you lose a little bit of momentum, you get back, you may not start exactly where you ended, you kind of have to review a little bit, and then you can gain a little bit more. But when there's consistency in place, it's so nice to be able to just kind of take that momentum and keep moving forward. Keep practicing in between your sessions, but then kind of keep taking on new information. Now, one of the other things that I am a huge proponent of is when your private firearms instruction can include rental equipment. Because one of the nice things about this is, while maybe you are a new gun owner, what if you're also in the market to buy something new? Or what if you bought something and you're not quite sure it's going to meet your needs? So when there's usually when there's a private instruction component, there's also a rental component, meaning that you can rent various pieces of equipment, everything from a firearm to maybe holsters, extra magazines, all sorts of other support and equipment that can help you get through this process. It can also help provide insight into the pros and cons of something else. You can do a compare and contrast between what you have and maybe something else. Just give you an understanding of maybe what you have or maybe what you need. So these are just a few reasons why private instruction is hugely advantageous for new shooters and even shooters that are looking to get into the sport of shooting. So if you have any other questions or you have any comments, please feel free to post them down below. Until then, I'm Jeff Gonzalez. Take care and stay safe.